Does your child have difficulty making friends?
Welcome to Parenting Matters Now, a source of parenting advice a few minutes at a time.
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Smith with Parenting Matters Now. Some children are more challenged when it comes to making friends or acquiring friends. And when we see that in our child, our heart goes out to them. And so I want to talk about what we can do to help in a situation where your child may have few friends or there may be difficulty in making friends. There are some training that we can provide. But first, step back from the situation and ask some questions. Ask them not of your child, but just think about it. What are the causes? What are some possible causes of why your child may not have the number or the kinds of friends that they would want or that you would want for them? Sometimes it is actually the situation that there's a different friend pool that is not available, either because of dynamics in your school or church situation, but it can be that there's limited access. Okay, that situation. It can be something with your child. Your child has some ways or some things that prevents connection, so to speak. And it could be that there's something about your family that creates a situation where it's hard to make friends. Whether you have sometimes families have a very prominent role. They seem unapproachable or unreachable. And so people don't try to make friends. They're friends with, their children with your children. There could be dynamics that are outside of your child that need to be addressed or adjusted on your part. Think through those things because those will affect the solutions that you pursue. And so because we as parents want solutions for our children, and when it is in regard to friends, we we take it very personal if our child seems to be rejected. The other thing that I would challenge you to think about is this is a long range plan. It is not something you're going to fix overnight, but you can fix it over time. So let's talk about things. First, one last thing on our response is what our child needs from us first is empathy, understanding the the sense of aloneness or rejection or whatever the feeling is. Try to understand your child's feelings about the situation of having few friends or not the friends they desire, and let them talk to you without you going, it's going to be okay and we're going to fix this. They need to know that you hurt with them or you long with them. Empathy is so important because that is what keeps the relationship with you, makes you a safe place for them to talk about it. And so where you are constantly trying to fix it, you become an unsafe place because you think that they're failing and they sense that. So communicate empathy and that you're with them. And when they hurt, you hurt. When they're happy, you're happy. And those kinds of things. So let's talk about some of the trainings that you can do. The most favorite subject of any person usually is themselves. And if your child is having difficulty making friends, you've got to train them to talk about the other person or let the other person talk about themselves. So many times I see when children are trying to overcome an obstacle in relationships, they talk about themselves. They talk about themselves. Well, that is poison to building a relationship. Giving your child some training on how to ask good questions about the person they're talking to. There's not a magic set of questions, but training them to know how to ask the other person questions about themselves. That's the favorite subject of the other person is themselves. And training your child with a set of questions and let them practice them with you or with a grandparent or with someone that is a safe person. Let them practice asking questions about the other person, and even if they are memorized questions. So when we're under stress, and building a relationship is stressful. But when we're under stress, we tend to kind of make a mess of attempting to ask questions. So memorized questions are very helpful. So memorize some good questions that they can practice saying and that they can always resort to a few conversation starters, so to speak. That's one good thing that you can do to help them in situations where you finally got them in contact with another child that's a potential friend. Let them use their memorized questions and teach them to listen and to be interested in the other person. That is a magnet for people to like you. So that's one simple solution that you can train your child in to help them gain a few friends. This is Dr. Roger Smith of Parenting Matters Now.
Subscribe to Parenting Matters Now for more advice, or go to rogersmithmd.com to search for more topics. See you next time.